Tales from the Great Green Lake by J.R.Croft. Narrated by Joe Ravenscroft. Copyright 2018, J.R.Croft.
Chapter 1.
Mole of the Mountains. The biggest concert of his life was coming, and Mole couldn't have been more excited. The Hall of Fame ball was only a few days away, and every spare moment he had, he practiced his low stringer. Mole loved playing the low notes, and he wanted everyone to be perfect, because it was going to be the biggest concert the fresh kickers had ever played. The problem was, Mole was so preoccupied that he couldn't stay focused. He was nervous and twitchy, and he kept making mistakes at his job. The other problem was, Mole had been growing in size, and he was already full-grown. Because Mole was a mole, he dug tunnels for the Lake Operations Group, and the LOG was busy. The giants were on the attack. Rabbits were dying everywhere, drowned in their own homes, killed by poisoned carrots or worse, attacked by ferrets and ripped to pieces. The giants had had enough of their digging. They declared war on all the rabbits that for generations had lived in the forest and on the slopes of the Phinnae Mountains. The LOG had asked a huge team of moles to dig the tunnels that would connect the forest burrows to the Great Hall, the main underground passageway circling the lake. For a mole, digging a tunnel should have been a simple enough order. Dig it straight to the Great Hall as quick and orderly as possible. But for Mole, that part about digging straight to the Great Hall had been a problem. To be sure, there were many tree roots that got in the way, so the tunnels weren't always exactly straight, and sometimes they went up and over or down and under, but at least they were headed in the right direction. Many rabbits had already fled and moved into underwater cabins scattered across the lake, but still there were many who had stayed in the forest, hoping the giants would be more forgiving as time went by. The giants were cold-hearted, and the killing continued. Mole usually had no problem keeping on course, but ever since he learned about the concert, his sense of direction stopped working, and his boss, Sundunny Baba, was less and less happy with him every day that went by. "Mole," Sundunny would say, "your tunnels make me dizzy. Pay attention and dig straight." One day, Mole was at full speed, digging like a crazy mole, scaring every worm and underground bug in the area, certain he was setting some kind of new speed record, which he needed because he was falling so far behind. Suddenly, bam! Mole hit something hard. Stars flashed in his head. He turned toward the surface and popped his head out of the ground. "Ouch!" Mole shouted. "Wow, that smarts!" He strained to pull himself out of the ground, grunting and growling. He finally extracted himself from the hole, stood up and rubbed his head. He looked fat as a toad. "Mole! Better watch where you're going there, buddy!" Seed, the messenger mouse, had been sitting up against the signpost when Mole hit it. She'd dropped her tiny sheets of birch bark, jumped up and landed in a crouch, wondering which way to run. Seed was relieved to see that it was only Mole. "It's nice to see you again, Mole," Seed said as she put her note sheets back in order. She'd been delivering messages along the hard black trail that circled Great Green Lake, and had stopped to take a rest. "Are you all right?" she said. "Say, have you put on weight since I last saw you? You look bigger." "I'm okay," Mole said, rubbing his head some more. "You think I've gained weight?" he said, looking down at his round body. "I can't imagine why. I haven't been eating much at all lately." He stretched his arms out and bent them at the elbows. "Actually, I think I've gotten more muscular. I must say I almost feel muscle-bound." "Oh?" Seed replied, turning her head while staring at Mole's enlarged body. "Okay. I guess I'll go with that." She looked at Mole's giant gut and then at her feet. Even the birds perched on a nearby branch felt awkward and stopped singing for a moment. The air went calm as glass. "Well," Mole said, breaking the silence, "I've done it again. I veered off
Sample complete. Ready to continue?